You're the strangest below. You know the
You know the
rules,
rules, and
so
so do
I.
I. Take it away, Corey.
Hey,
There's commitment that I'm thinking of.
hey, I didn't know those words.
Welcome back to another exciting edition of Rake Your Position, where four lifelong friends try to live out the dream from the comfort of the chairs. I'm Aaron, the host.
I am
Nothing
Joe.
funny. Wow. Okay, fine.
Your voice was funny. It sounds like you're hitting puberty right now, but I'm Joe, the groundskeeper. I got a antiperspirant line coming out. It's called Young Bland. So check that out.
That's okay. It's not as good as Moonhug, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm Jay Lee the Rover, and at least you're consistent, Cooney. I think it's 3 times now that you've messed up in the opening, but I appreciate the consistency.
Yeah.
Three,
No problem,
way
guys.
more.
Yep. And I'm Corey the
it.
Statman, and I would be interested in investing in your new company. We can talk percentages and stuff like
Gotta
that
take it.
when we're done.
Yeah, you'll be easy to fool him with the stats. He doesn't understand them, so.
That's true.
You'll be able to take all his money.
190%. I will give you $25,000 for 190% of your company.
Give me some good dirt. You can have it.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have made it. This is the final week of the first regular season of
Oh,
Rake Your
thank
Position.
God.
It's the final
Wow.
countdown.
Well, for us Cardinals fans, it's been a very, very long season. So yeah,
It's been a very long countdown.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you know?
No, I don't.
Y'all seen Waterworld, right?
Of course.
Well, listeners, I hope you've seen it
Corey,
as well.
I don't think he has.
You know when
Wow.
he drops the flare in the boat, and the guy down there siphoning the oils, like, oh, thank God, because finally he can die.
Finally,
Yeah,
it's over.
that's how I feel about this season.
Sweet release of death. All right. Well, yeah, the season didn't quite turn out exactly like we thought it would based off our predictions. But we are here for the final round of rakings to close out the year. And once again, we have a first in our rankings. So last week, we had a first because there was a four-way tie for fifth place. We each had a different fifth place team. And so we got a new surprise for you all today. Once again, in first place are the Braves. They're unanimous. They lead the league in wins. They're about to clinch home field advantage. Yada, yada, yada. They're the best team in baseball, and they're getting hurt at the absolute worst time. Baltimore's in second still, staying strong. They got all the second place votes. And then it started getting a little bit closer, but the Rays are staying in third with 2 third place votes and 2 fourth place votes. They were tied with the Dodgers there last week, and they have pulled to third place by themselves. The Dodgers have fallen to fourth with 2/3 and a fourth, meaning somebody did not vote for them. So I'll be interested to see who confesses for that in just a moment. And then in fifth place with a fourth and a fifth are the Philadelphia Phillies. They sneak into the fifth spot by stealing a vote from the Dodgers. I did not vote for them. The Rangers got the other 2 fifth place votes, as well as the Jays rounding out the fifth place. I voted for the Jays once again, but it looks like the two fellas down there high-fiving each other voted for the Phillies.
It sounds like they connived.
Yeah, this is an inside job here, getting the Phillies on the board.
You know,
so the
we
floor
did
is
not.
yours.
First off, we didn't connive because me and Corey barely talk in the chat at all. You think we talk outside of that?
That's
Yeah.
true. He actually made mention how you.
Second
You were
off,
kinda
Jared
silent.
doesn't know what connive means.
Correct.
Wow.
We can move past that though. I think the listeners knew that already though, so that's fine. Corey, do you want to take the floor? Or do you want me to go first?
I will add my 2 cents. I think they're the fifth best team. Obviously, I've been high on the Phillies all year. Looking at that fifth spot, it has been an AL West team the past few episodes, and they have just kind of beat up on each other, which doesn't make any of the teams really any better or worse than they have been. But I think the Phillies have played really good baseball lately. 8-2 in their last 10, which doing a quick search here is, yep, okay, tied for the best the past 10 games, and I would say significantly better than the other teams that are 8-2 in the last 10. I think the Phillies have been good all year and not quite played up to what they have been, and they're getting hot at the right time, and hopefully they can keep her going. Over to you, Jared.
I'll keep mine short and simple. They got this one guy by the name of Bryce Harper. And I don't know if you're allowing me to pick teams to win it all. I'm not saying that's my team, but that could be my team.
I would they're towards the top of my list as well.
And if you can have a guy bat under 200 but also hit 40 plus homers in the leadoff spot, aka Kyle Schwarber, you gotta love a team like that.
Or you don't.
Well, that's fine. They're in your division. I get it.
So you said pick a team to win. So I threw out a proposal to you guys today, and everybody gave me crickets back. We got our one last weekend prediction score contest coming up at the end of this pod. I propose a challenge that, based off those rankings, at our next pod, we pick World Series winners, and we have a draft. Whoever has the best record goes first, second, third, fourth, and then we'll snake it, and we'll pick from playoff teams and see who gets the winner.
That's
we'll have a championship belt or something along those lines. All right. So then my follow-up question, because I'm okay with the Phillies getting in fifth place. That's totally fine. But Jared, I want to know why you hate the Dodgers so much all of a sudden. How can you not vote for the Dodgers at all?
You want honesty?
Yes.
Give us both honesty and lie.
And we'll try to pick.
Cody Freeman made him mad.
Yeah, I blame my boy Cody. No, I'll just go straight honesty. I, when filling this out, forgot the Dodgers were a baseball team.
I was waiting for it. I was like, somebody forgot it, because there's no way they don't make it. The Rangers do.
So I submitted that, and then after I submitted it, I was looking at the standings, and I'm like, I made a mess up.
Boo-boo.
They're a recent expansion team, so they're easy to forget about.
Yeah.
I was thinking there. Yeah, so that's my bad. Sorry, Dodgers. You probably should have got my vote. Next question.
It wouldn't have changed much. If you had been in the fourth, they would have stayed tied for the Rays. Phillies still would have gotten the fifth place. And if you had them in fifth and the Phillies fourth, the Dodgers would have been in fourth. So it wouldn't have changed the rankings much. It was just funny that they got left off.
Who's Corey, tell me this. Who's the top four in Philly? Who's the rotation? I know Wheeler. Is Nola pitching?
Nola's still pitching. Christopher Sanchez is maybe his name. Has done really well. Kind of an unknown guy that Ranger Suarez, Taiwan Walker, Lorenzen's there. I mean, they got
Lorenzen's in a pin already.
Guys. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that one too is super deadly.
It's good.
Yeah.
Taiwan Walker can be great. Like I mean, I think it's going to be after that 1-2 kind of a mix and match, because Suarez and Sanchez are both left-handed. So if you're going up against a team that's got a lot of lefty bats, then you might start those guys over Taiwan Walker.
Yeah, that immediately makes him one of my favorite pitchers.
Sanchez is left-handed too.
Yeah. Well, they hit 2 out of 3.
Let me get some heights on these. Christopher Sanchez, 6'1". Ranger
Oh,
Suarez
Braves
also
said he-
6'1".
Brave said he was 6'5" the other day. I swear. They were mouthing each
WWE
other because
heights.
they saw multiple heights for him. But yeah, I was listening to the radio that said he was 6'5". Interesting. Alrighty. Well, I thought maybe it was an oversight on the Dodgers for them not to make it there, Jared. But it didn't really impact their rankings because the Phillies still would have got the 5th spot no matter where the Dodgers were voted on. So that's interesting. I think that's the first time all year they've been in there, unless Corey had them on
Phillies?
before we started playing.
That sounds accurate.
Once the season got rolling, they haven't been up there. I know they may have started off up there, but I can't remember. So yeah, that's good stuff there with the rankings. So the season commences. Season finishes.
The season
Sunday.
connives.
Season
Concludes.
finishes up Sunday, and the divisions are almost all locked up. Cubs could still catch the Brewers.
No.
Nope, it clinched last night.
Cubs
All right.
lost and the Brewers clinched.
All right, so
What a
that's
way to
all
clinch.
all the divisions are clinched. So we're just talking wild cards
West,
now.
AL West.
Okay. So Texas has got a 2.5 game lead on Houston.
Are you looking
Is
at
that right?
different numbers than I was?
They got one extra game played on this MLB.com. Let me click back on this, see if it needs to refresh.
It's from last week. Oh, okay. No, you're right.
Yeah. So Texas already played today? What's going on? Or they got a doubleheader coming up?
And I don't know. We don't have to figure this out right now. This
Yeah,
is something we should know.
It completely caught me off guard that they have one less game played than everybody else. That's interesting. But yeah, so Texas, Houston, Seattle are all in the running for the West with some amount of games left to be played when the season finishes up. And then a lot of intrigue in both wild cards.
Houston.
So this will be fun. Be a good weekend of baseball.
Could be.
All right, so we're moving on to AL awards. Corey, you want to take the lead? Jared's taking the lead. Who's taking the lead on this?
Well, I can give my short input on the AL
Go for
awards. What I guess I will say is surprising about the MVP race is we talked about just two guys with Mr. Shohei and Mr. Seager. And talking to you guys before the break, I figured like Ohtani being hurt would have factored into that, but it sounds like he's still going to get that award. God bless you.
Man, I thought I got far enough away from my mic.
You
Nope.
have a mute button.
Golly.
We just got more listeners because of that.
We're going to have to. I can't
Um,
edit that out either because Jared was talking. So
Yeah. No, but
My bad.
I guess I find it surprising that Shohei's still going to get it, it seems like. So I guess that's where I'll open the floor to you guys because I know we're talking about Seager when we were in Kansas City and he's been on a roll. But I mean, I guess it's still hard to deny what Shohei did. He's been done for almost a month now.
Why would you say you find it surprising?
I just think you lose votes when you get hurt, I guess is what I'm saying. But I guess his numbers speak for
Mhm.
themselves and that doesn't even matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of way 95% of people would look at it. Yeah, he missed a month of games, but what he did in all the other months, double wielding, it's a beast.
Not to go full on stat guy here, but so Shohei, again, because when I talked about WAR a little bit earlier in one of the earlier episodes, saying there is a set amount of WAR, so if somebody goes up, somebody has to go down. Shohei, even though he hasn't played, his WAR fluctuates because people either get more or get less, and then it can go to him. But so he's still sitting at 10 WAR. Next closest, this is Baseball Reference, Mookie Betts at 8.3, Ronald Acuna Jr. at 8.1. So the guy misses a month, and he's still got an almost 2 WAR lead. Which, when you're talking about, when someone has 10 WAR, that's a almost 20% lead over somebody else. So yeah, it's he does crazy stuff. I really hope he goes.
Are the
to
Angels still
team
pushing,
that I
or
like.
where are they at?
Are they still what?
Are the Angels still pushing, or are they?
Oh,
they
oh no,
oh no.
the
Push at the
Angels.
bottom.
Yeah. I hope he goes to a team that I don't mind and that is good. I don't think that will be the case, but a boy can hope.
Little boy's
He'll be
dream.
He'll be in St. Louis.
Could you name a couple of those teams that you wouldn't mind seeing him on?
I mean, the Cubs would be great. Not the Dodgers, not the Yankees, not St. Louis.
That's weird.
As far as NL Central, I'd say the Cubs. The Giants would be great. They've been looking for their superstar. I like the Giants a lot for some reason.
Why do you like the Giants?
So I really like Buster Posey and I like
there it
Madison
is.
Bumgarner.
Players that don't play there anymore. Got it.
That's true. But they've got a soft spot in my heart, or I have a soft spot in my heart for them.
That way.
I had something pop into my head, which is obviously stupid, but I'm going to go with it. So let's say, I'm sure we have a couple of listeners that are Harry Potter fans. And let's say you put that sorting hat on Shohei. What do you think that thing's going to say?
Slytherin.
No.
Not a Harry Potter house. MLB team.
My bad.
Ravenclaw.
Not
All right,
Hufflepuff.
that went about as
No.
sideways as I thought it would.
You're saying like what? I don't understand how to answer this question.
He's just
You want us to pick a team where Otani goes next year?
Or like the best
you
fit
are the
team for
hat.
Otani?
I'm the hat.
Okay, Aaron, just cut this out of the actual thing.
Hey,
No, this
welcome to another exciting edition
No, this is
of
good.
Rake
This
Your
is good.
Position.
No.
If I'm the hat, hang on. I get put
You
on
are-
top of
you're-
Otani's head.
St. Louis.
Yeah, I like it. And then he
Um,
has to go there.
I think the Giants actually do make a lot of sense, but I did start a Harry Potter Lego set today, so that's pretty exciting for me, and that's what I got going on in my life.
Excellent. Excitement.
Toronto.
I would be surprised if it's not. What you said, Toronto? I would be surprised if it's not a West Coast team. I mean, I guess I've never seen him say like, "Oh, I want to stay on the West Coast and close to my home." But, man, can you imagine like flying Toronto to back to Japan?
Long flight.
I guess it's a long flight from California too. But
I was going to say, how often does he fly back? Once a year? I think he'll be fine. If he wants to win.
Yeah, he'll
No,
probably
he
end up
wants-
on a coast, most likely.
Back to the MVP conversation. We didn't do a deep dive into this, but just looking at WAR, as Corey was talking about that earlier, the top 10 WAR in MLB, Otani is number 1. Marcus Semien is number 2 in the AL. Seager's number 3. And then Henderson is number 4. So those are your top 4 WAR leaders in the according to Baseball Reference in the American League. Henderson, as we're going to talk about in a second, the favorite to win the AL Rookie of the Year, which none of us picked, right?
Correct.
Yeah,
I had a teammate. That's
yeah.
half a point, right?
Nope. So yeah, even like everybody's catching him offensively. If you look at offensive WAR, it's a lot closer. Seager actually leads in offensive WAR, past Otani recently. J-Rod and Semien are right there in the mix for offensive WAR. But then you just add the 4 extra WAR for pitching. It just puts Otani over the top. So it's got to be Otani for MVP. With a discussion who's second. So,
Yep.
But then in the American League for the Rookie of the Year, Henderson's running away with it. I don't know. Joe had Yoshida.
Mm-hmm.
He's up there, but
Yeah.
nothing spectacular.
Yeah, he's had a good season, but
Mhm.
like you said, these AL races aren't close.
Yeah.
Similar with the Cy Young as well with Garrett Cole, albeit on a very disappointing Yankees team, having by far the best year, and it's a guy who is surprising that hasn't won one previously as well. So it'll be nice that I think he's finally going to get his. You got Kevin Gausman, who's done really well for the Blue Jays, racking up the strikeouts. Luis Castillo's had a really solid year at the Mariners, but just nothing really compared to Garrett Cole. So yeah, these AL races, I think that's kind of why they've been pushed back on our agenda a couple
Yeah.
weeks, just because it's like, well, we don't have a whole lot to say. We can talk more about Shohei, almost certainly. But as far as the actual awards and the voting, it seems pretty well set.
Yep.
How these are gonna shake out.
As of right now, too, Cole even passed Sonny Gray in ERA, which that was the one category Sonny Gray had been kind of holding on to all year. And then Castillo and Gossman get a little more dynamic with their strikeouts and stuff. But Cole does it all. But the young guys in Seattle have been the talk of town lately. They didn't pitch like that in the first half of the year, but they're all pitching well now. So a lot of fun names, but Cole's going to run away with it.
Is there a triple crown for pitching? If so, what are those stats?
ERA, innings, and Ks. Right.
Well, I don't know about it. Would innings be that? I'm not sure.
Would it be wins? ERA, Ks, and
Probably
wins.
wins.
I was
Which I
thinking
feel like
wins, ERA, and in innings, but I guess we're all on computers, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pitching stats and like what actually matters.
That's
Wins,
changed so much.
strikeouts, and ERA.
Wins, strikeouts, yeah. Which like wins are not indicative of how good of a pitcher you are. Strikeouts, maybe. I mean, strikeouts and innings pitched are kind of go hand in hand because you're obviously gonna, if the more innings you pitch, the more strikeout opportunities you have at least. An ERA is still okay, but wins are.
Yeah, there's a lot of new fancy ways to judge the same idea as ERA that a lot more teams are paying attention to, and ERA is kind of an old school stat now.
Yep. Aaron, do you have a rant for us?
I do have a rant. I'm so excited you guys will let me do this, even though I did not tell you what it was. But I was listening to our podcast last week, had a lot of fun conversation, and this comparison started, and it intrigued me, so I want to dive deeper into it. Trout and Griffey. This is cool. So age 31, who has more games played through their age 31 season? Griffey or Trout? Griffey, yes, by about 100 more games. Home runs, Corey said last year, 368 to 460. Who has more RBIs?
I mean, like with that much of a discrepancy in home runs, I feel like it's got to be Griffey.
It is Griffey. 940 to 1335, so a whole bunch more. Stolen bases, Trout edges out a little bit. OPS is tough to tell, but they're both well over 900. Defensive runs saved, Trout 57, Griffey 73. So right now, do you think if Trout, because Trout's hurt again, do you think if Trout retired right now, he is a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Joe says yes.
Yes.
Jared says yes.
Yes.
Corey says yes.
Okay, yeah. I pulled it up like absolutely.
Yeah, his WAR is way up there. His
well, and
like,
he's a career 994 OPS.
OPS, yeah.
Ridiculous that's a career OPS.
Yeah. So right now we would say Trout could retire at age 31 with those numbers and be Hall of Famer, no doubt. So here's where my rant starts. Andrew Jones, baby. Andrew Jones. I tricked you all in. I sucked you in. It is episode 25. Andrew Jones, WAR 25. His 25 just got retired by the Braves, and everything is trending in the right direction for him to finally get the big Hall call. If you look at Roland's voting history, Andrew's very similar trajectory, just a year or two behind him. And so we saw Roland start getting more and more love for his defense, his overall body of work. And we all agreed that it was about time he got in. And so my rant is for Andrew Jones as we celebrate episode 25, because Andrew gets knocked all the time for what happened after he turned 31. Which is just crazy because you all just said if Trout retired at 31, he would be no doubt Hall of Famer. So Andrew Jones, through his age 31 season, which is his whole Brave career and his one horrible year in LA when he couldn't stay healthy, through age 31, compared to Trout, he has almost 400 more games played. Compared to Griffey, he's 250 more games. Home runs, he had more homers than Trout through his age 31 season. Griffey, of course, blew him away. RBIs, he has almost 200 more RBIs than Trout through his age 31 season. OPS is in the low 800s. So that's the big difference. But defensive runs saved.
Sorry, not a vote for me then.
Trout, 57 defensive runs saved through his age 31 season right now. Griffey had 73 defensive runs saved. Andrew Jones had 246 runs saved as a defender. So he's 5 times better defensively, hit more homers, drove in more runs, and yet played 400 more games, and yet he's not in the Hall of Fame because age 32 to age 38, he wasn't that good of a player. Drives me crazy. That's my rant. So you guys all agree that Andrew Jones should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. And
hang on.
For whatever reason, we're still waiting on.
Hang on.
Yes.
How many defensive runs saved did Andrew Jones have?
246.
And then how many did Griffey have?
73.
That's why he's not in, because you said he's 5 times better the defender. It's actually really.
I said better than Trout.
We're going off of Griffey stats.
No, I said Trout.
Yeah, no, we're not worried about Trout. Trout's still playing.
You all said Trout's a first ballot Hall of Famer if he was done today.
Did Jones retire at 31?
Why does that matter?
That's
the point I don't get. No,
that was the question. So if Trout retired right now,
yeah,
and Jones played too long. He doesn't look good anymore.
That's a horrible argument. Start at 19, dominate for 12 years, and have 5 or 6 okay years, and end up with over 400 homers as the best outfielder of all time. And you can't argue that. Stats say he's the best defensive outfielder besides Willie Mays. Okay, besides Willie Mays. Go ahead.
Well,
Thanks, guys.
One reason I said Trout would be Hall of Fame because I think the writers would somewhat factor in, hey, this guy, for whatever reason, retired super early. And like his numbers would get him there like 75% of the way, and the other 25% would be, it's like who's the dude that died in a plane crash and was young, or was he even young? I don't know.
He's already retired. Roy Halladay.
I think you're saying Roberto Clemente.
Oh, gotcha.
Jeez.
So I think that would factor a little bit into why they would vote him in. Like, oh, his leg got chopped off and he couldn't play, but his numbers are so stinking good. And I'm not saying
I don't know where that's going.
It's like when Jimi Hendrix dies at 26. Oh, he's the greatest guitar player of all time. Well, is he? I mean, he's really singing good, but you have like that, oh, they didn't get to complete their career type boost in their fandom or whatever. I mean, that correlation is so spot on. Everybody will understand where I'm coming from.
I'm still trying to catch it.
I'm not saying Andrew Jones is not Hall of Fame. I will say nobody cares about defense. He hit, you play. That's the
Ozzie Smith.
I'm not saying Ozzie Smith. I mean, he is amazing, but
first ballot Hall of Famer because of defense. Take Ozzie Smith, give him 400 homers. He's 100%. He's 100% unanimous Hall of Fame.
Okay, well, what does defensive runs saved even mean? Explain that to me. If somebody else was in the outfield, 200 more runs they're going to score.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what
like
over his career.
It's a comparison to an average.
Yes.
Well, I would love to see how they come to that number. I mean, you got a lot of guys drawing a lot of lines coming up.
You do
260.
exactly.
You hit, you play, and he did hit, but I mean, he's not hitting like Mike Trout. He's not hitting like Ken Griffey.
I mean, his last 6 years, woof.
Again, I would probably put him in. I mean, it's like, we just recently had Brooks Robinson pass away, and he had, 15, 16 Gold Gloves in a row. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at Andrew had, 10?
10 straight, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put him in, but I'm not, putting him on a pedestal of top 5 outfielder of all time.
Would you like a definition of defensive run saves real quick?
Yeah, I think our listeners would, yeah.
Okay. So basically it takes the probability that a play is made. So let's say if there is a fly ball that's hit to center field and it is caught 60% of the time. So that would be, an expected batting average of 400. If the center fielder makes the play, he basically gets 0.4 bonus points. If he doesn't make the play, he gets docked 0.6 points. And then they basically take that score and then figure out what league average is and adjust accordingly. So,
Get that?
yeah.
See, I took all that information in, and it just makes me think that these defensive runs scored is a stat that we don't even need to talk about. It sounds pretty irrelevant.
I mean, it tells you how much
gotta
better
judge
he
by
is.
you gotta judge by your eye.
So you want to give the Gold Glove to the guy who makes the most the number,
The most-
like if the guy
most
makes
top
10
10
spectacular plays, but he has 30 errors, you want to give the Gold Glove to that guy?
Hands down. What's it all about? Make it
Yep.
Sports Center.
Okay. Aaron,
Andrew
I
Jones.
just have one question mostly.
Yeah.
And I would like to preface it here. I think everybody here on the pod probably agrees that Andrew Jones is a Hall of Famer. So I'm just wondering.
I wasn't so sure. I wasn't
I'm
so
wondering who you hope hears this.
sure.
To
Guys,
try
I
and
wasn't
sway
for
there.
sure. I want all the BBWAA writers out there that have
Listen to the pod, obviously.
yes,
We gotta-
They
that
we gotta
have
tag 'em.
failed to
Twitter
vote
bomb.
for him. It makes absolutely no sense because the simplest argument is you put Ozzie Smith with 400 homers, you have Andrew Jones as far as defenders up the middle that played every day.
Andrew Jones should have stopped when he was 29, actually.
But why
We
is that an
also
argument?
know-
I don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like
Well, we
he still
also
had
know-
3 years of his OPS over 100.
Hopefully 1,000 is what you mean.
He
Yeah,
never had
OPS
one
over
season-
over
Or you
100.
mean
Over
OPS
1,000.
plus?
No, OPS is 100. OBP is 1,000. Wait, what are you talking about?
OPS is 1,000 also.
OPS plus. Sorry, yes, I leave the plus off.
Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
There you go. Yeah, let's just.
My bad.
All right.
What are you saying, Joe?
My OPS is over 100 probably.
I think
Mine
even
is.
mine is.
What were you saying, Joe? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, because you're kind of on my boy Ozzy here, so I might have to come over and chat him tonight, show you what I learned in jujitsu.
Oh
class,
no,
but
100% Ozzie Smith, first ballot Hall of Famer.
well, we all know that playing defense in the infield is like 400 times harder than playing defense in the outfield. Shortstop is, it's always you hit, you play. Hashtag merch.
Have you ever
but-
seen a center fielder be like, you can't handle it, go to shortstop? No, but you see, you can't handle shortstop, go, what? What's your argument?
I think
Yeah,
you're
I-
making the
that-
argument.
that-
for
I-
him.
I just got
made
you,
it.
so-
Yeah, I just made it for him. Okay, I see what you're saying. I was confused on what you're saying.
Woof.
I'm
No, that's fine.
trotting
shortstop
under a
is-
fly ball is easier than trying to judge a hop of 110 coming at you.
That's fair.
Okay,
know
I
what's
won't
even
come over. I
harder?
won't come
So-
over and attack you in your sleep.
But throwing
So-
400 homers.
Yeah, hit you play. That's why he's in.
I mean, if we want to talk about guys that maybe fall in this argument, I don't want to bring up Buster Posey again, but if you twist my arm, I might.
I'll twist it.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's a guy that also.
Your turn to rant.
It's not really a rant. I mean, I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You moved to the mic like you wanted to say something. But he did also retire young. Like, was 34 when he retired, and he was just like, you know what, I'm good. And like, there's something to respect in that. And certainly, his WAR is not that great, but catcher WAR is never good. For some reason, they've not figured out a way to figure that out very good. But I mean, none of his stats jump off the page. I mean, 302 batting average is pretty extraordinary. Rookie of the year, MVP. But he's also a guy that only played for 12 years. Granted, a little bit more physical position than any of the other ones.
How many ships did he get?
3.
Hall of Fame, baby.
Yeah, I mean, but he did also. I mean, he did basically get his leg ripped off, like you mentioned earlier, Joe. So it's there. This is a guy that probably has felt the pain of this game, and is like, I don't think I have anything left to prove. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. But A relatively short career, but I still think, in my opinion, easily a Hall of Famer.
I think so.
I don't really have anything else.
The
I can't-
last thing I'll say is for that
Oh,
10-year
boy.
stretch of Andrew Jones, Barry Bonds led the league in WAR in those 10 years. A-Rod was second. We all know what they were doing. Andrew was third in the MLB in WAR in his 10-year prime. I mean,
Could
give the
retire
man
10
some
years.
love. That doesn't make sense. That argument's dumb.
Do you put
He
I
was
don't
really
wanna-
bad after those years.
He's not, though. Look at his stats.
I just did.
He had an OPS plus over 100 with the White Sox, over 100 with the Rangers, and at 100. Oh, at 100 with the Rangers, over 100 with the Yankees. Like he wasn't the superstar, but he wasn't bad. Could stay
So
healthy.
are you putting Jim Edmonds in the hall?
I was going to bring Edmonds into the conversation, but I figured Trout and Griffey's enough because I don't know Edmonds' career good enough to say one way or the other. I really haven't looked.
Check it. Listeners, check it out. Cooney, check it out. We don't have to go off onto a tangent here, but kind of similar. I mean, he didn't. Edmonds was good all the way to the end, but Andrew has better overall numbers.
Are we ready for this week's edition
I'm ready. I can't wait.
of Appreciate?
Oh
We'll
man, are we here
reinstate.
already? Are we here already? Somebody-
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
All right, let me go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, perfect.
No, I'm kidding. Kidding. I peed in the shower earlier. All right. So, everybody, welcome to this segment, episode 25 of Appreciate or Reinstate, where we look at some things that used to happen in the game. Maybe they still happen a little bit in the game, but we look at some things that used to be a little more prevalent, and we're trying to decide, do we appreciate that it used to be a part of the game and just leave it in the past and talk about it sometimes, or do we, through massive social media influence, try to get these things reinstated back into the game? Corey, you good?
No, I'm not good because I just got a final score update on my phone, so I'm doing pretty bad.
Is that
Somebody had a
another
walk-off.
comeback? Was
It's
that another comeback?
6-5 and 10. Braves win.
Thank you, Suzuki.
Go away.
So this segment, it came from a couple places. I had some help with this. I don't know if I was thinking about this before Cooney said it or not. I'm going to say I was thinking about it, so I don't give all the credit to Cooney.
Fair enough.
But I know my brother's he's listening to all of our pods. So shout out to our consistent listener there. He's been to a
single
stadium.
Hey, my dad.
Oh, that's true.
Hey, family forever. So he's been to a stadium that we have not. At least I know I have not been to it. He has been to the Denver, Colorado stadium. Has anybody here been to the Denver stadium? We need to hit that up
No.
sometime. Maybe when they're not complete trash, but are they not complete trash this year?
That'll be hard.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe they'll move to Aspen or something, get better. But anyway, that was forever ago that he went to that game. And one of the things I remember him telling me about it was he found it so odd that they had, throughout the game, they had a lot of like gimmicks and stuff in between innings, like stuff you would see maybe at minor league stadiums or and I don't remember what they were, but we were used to going to Cardinal games where you win every year and you go there to watch the game because they're probably going to win. Well, he said they had so much stuff going on the field that was not baseball that it was just really odd, right? So I had thought of that. Right? I had remembered that. And then when we were in KC, I promise I'll get to the actual segment here in a second. When we were in KC, I think we were just walking around, probably looking for some really healthy food to eat. And we were jabbering back and forth about maybe some future segments. And Cooney had brought up, I don't remember exactly what he said, but like some old promotions that the teams used to do. Cooney, do you remember exactly what he said? It was something like that, right?
I was talking about if you'd ever seen the White Sox, and I'm trying to find them right now for specific examples. But yeah, there's some crazy disco demolition night, I think is what I was talking about.
Okay. Well, you're foreshadowing pretty heavy here, Cooney.
What's that?
So I said you are foreshadowing.
Oh, gotcha.
By foreshadowing, I mean the shadow has now
Illuminated.
left, and you're shining right on the actual product here. So I couldn't find anything about like gimmicks during the game, like the sausage race Milwaukee does, or other things, which I think is what my brother was referencing. But I did Google up some weird MLB promotions that some teams have put on, and I got a PowerPoint, boys. Got a PowerPoint. So, listeners, I'll walk you through it. Viewers, you can gaze upon the glory of this professionally built multimedia Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, I gotta share my screen, right?
That would be helpful, yeah.
All right, let me know when you guys got that.
Got it.
So, do you have just the slide, or do you have the notes like off to the side?
Just a
Just
slide.
the slide.
Oh yeah. So these kind of get a little better as they go along, but I do want to give a shout out to where I guess you could say I stole this stuff. I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't say that
No one listens. It's
in
okay.
an audio recording. Thanks, Corey.
Yep.
I'll give a shout out to thisgreatgame.com. There's a lot of top 10 lists of like worst MLB promotions, but I found a lot of it through their website. So I got what the promotion was and the year that it was there. But for our listeners, this is in 1976, the Chicago White Sox decided to try shorts on their players. And it's one of the grossest looking things I've ever seen. I don't know what our other guys here think, but long story short, nobody liked him. The players didn't like him. I'm assuming the fans didn't like him. They went away pretty quick, but that was one. I guess you wouldn't really call that a promotion, but something they tried out that didn't take hold. What are you guys' thoughts on the shorts? I would hate playing in shorts just due to sliding and stuff, but what do you think?
You got the hands going. Just go.
I've talked a lot. I think they look atrocious. I'm all in.
Yeah.
I would rock those shorts like crazy. And it's the flip down collar too that adds to it. That's the collar for me right there.
Yeah. I mean, I've played softball in shorts, and like it's a great idea until you slide, and then it's not.
Then you very much regret it.
Are you still not healed? I felt like there was a rule in high school about how you couldn't even wear shorts to practice, but I don't think that lasted very long. But maybe I made that up. But yeah, I mean it's not great, and it doesn't look like baseball, so I'm out on shorts. Sorry.
Mm-hmm. Daily, any thoughts?
Jared's the fashionista of the group.
You'll see a pattern here. I don't know what was going on in the 70s. But well, there's some weird ideas. So my next one I got for you here, this one, if guys, listeners, if I say the word scrapper, what does that make you think of?
Sure.
Just off the cuff. I'm a scrapper.
Like you're scrappy?
Tony Gwynn, Luis Arise, people that are hard to strike out. We're talking specifically about baseball.
Well, we're not specifically talking about baseball, and I can tell you guys
Why would we
grew up
be?
in quite a bit of privilege because scrapper around my neck of the woods, That means you find random pieces of metal and you turn it in for cash.
And you get no
So-
money nowadays. So
Hey, 50 cents a pound, dude. Anyway, the next one I have here was I believe this was by the Mets at the Polo Grounds. And on September 26, 1942, kids could bring scrap metal to the game and get in. Does anybody know why they would have this promotion?
World War II.
World War II. That was a poopy time. So yeah, I got a picture of a. I don't know if this is from the day of. I may have just found a random black and white scrap metal looking picture offline.
is
But
that your mom right there?
Wow.
This is Pike County,
that's my
2023.
great grandma. That's my
2020 Pike County 2023 looks like New York in 1942.
Yes,
That's
he was talking about all the privilege that we have that he doesn't
Yeah.
have right now.
Yeah. Oh, right now? No, I got plenty. But anyway, apparently the kids got like there's a huge number of kids that did this, and they got confused about what inning it was, and they rushed the field in the eighth inning, and the Mets had to or the giant New York Giants at that time had to forfeit the game. So I bet they were. Yeah, I guess the U.S. Army was cool with the promotion, but maybe not Mets fans, Giants fans, but priorities, right? The next one, we're jumping back to the 70s. And I couldn't pull up a picture for this one because I know
I was wondering if it was coming.
we gotta stay PG for our credentials to stay intact. So May 20th,
Oh, no.
1977. Let me make sure I got the right team here. This was Atlanta. Wow, Cooney, you like to follow the you like to follow the wholesome teams. Anyway, wet t-shirt night, May 20th, 1977. A crowd of 11,451 showed up. The Braves got beat 13-4, and I think the wet t-shirt contest took place after the game.
And a preacher's daughter won.
Yeah, that's what my bio says as well. So anyway, I mean, I don't think we're going to see that happen. I don't know.
Wonder
Times
what
are
the
weird.
temperature
Maybe we will
was.
see that.
I feel like it might have been a little nippy, but who knows?
Oh,
So weird promotion.
Totally normal.
for the record, the Braves were 61 and 101 that year. So they were that is also the year that Ted Turner fired the manager and he managed for one game. He actually went down the dugout dressed up and was manager, and they actually made a rule after that. Then MLB kicked Ted Turner out of the manager's box and said that owners could no longer manage the teams, which I always thought was weird.
That
But
is
when
weird.
you're that bad and your owner's Ted Turner, you do whatever you can to entertain fans, and this was a poor choice.
Yeah, and the pattern of our team really sucks. Let's try to do something to get fans here was kind of a common theme throughout some of these promotions that I saw. The next promotion, which
Gross.
I actually thought was pretty cool when we saw this
Yeah,
at the
reinstate this.
yeah, when we saw this at the World Baseball Classic. Now there's probably only a couple thousand rather than how many of these Mother Bears did they give out? Guessing a lot. So this is June 19th. The Marlins versus the Rays. They handed out Vavuvulas. Am I saying that right?
Nope.
Vavuvulas?
Vuvuzelas.
Yeah, you don't have it spelt right on the screen there.
I don't think so.
It's vuvuzelas.
Vuvuzela?
Should be a Z, not a
Yeah,
third
my
V.
bad. That third V should be a Z.
I don't know what a vuvuzela is.
Well,
Vuvuzelas.
anyway, I guess I should have some of these more recent ones I should have looked up like clips, but so we were at the World Baseball Classic, and again, we saw some Hispanic teams going. Is this a purely Mexican thing, or is it like all South America? Does anybody know? Jaylee?
The whole thing.
Wow.
Whole thing.
I know it's big
So
in a World Cup, a FIFA World Cup, and then I feel like it's just blown up since then.
yeah, that's a good point. But and it may not even been a couple thousand. It may have been less than that we saw, and they were loud. I
Like
mean, I could
40.
if somebody said they were annoying, you couldn't really argue with them. Some people love them. I didn't have a problem with them, but let's just say there's 20,000 people getting these at a game, blowing on those things. That would be
In a indoor stadium too.
yeah. As a
Roof closed.
player, I guess as anybody inside the stadium, that would be pretty rough. Skipping on to our next one. Got a picture here, Tommy Lasorda and two umpires. So this took place on August 10th, 1995. They had ball night. And I think the number I saw was like every fan got one. 53,000 of these things were handed out. And I mean, you can kind
50,000
of
ended up on
see,
the field.
yeah, you can kind of see where this is going. Fans are, it only takes like a couple fans to be really dumb and then people follow suit. But yeah, all these balls started getting thrown around. I think there was some bad calls, quote unquote. Angel Hernandez was there. And anyway, the Dodgers ended up having to forfeit the game to the Cardinals. And because all these balls were being flown around. So we haven't seen that promotion since 1995 and probably won't. Here's the aforementioned Disco Demolition Night that Aaron spoke of. Again, back to the 1970s, 1979. The White Sox, again. I guess a lot of people liked the disco in the 70s, and a lot of people hated disco in the 70s. So their promotion was bring your albums and we'll blow them up. That's kind of the story I got.
Pretty much.
And their turnout was like 10 times what they thought it was. And it was a double header where they had to forfeit the second game because of all the destruction that had taken place on the field. You wonder what some of these people were thinking in the 70s. And then the last one I had before we get more into the discussion of appreciating it or reinstating it was 10-cent beer night.
Oh, no.
June 4th, 1974. Cleveland front office decides to have 10-cent beer night. Their attendance doubled their average for that night. And I'll just read a short paragraph. Throughout the game, drunken fans interrupted the game, shed their clothes, streaked the field. Others threw objects towards the players. A lot of stuff getting thrown on the field, people on the field. Anyway, Cleveland ended up having to forfeit that game as well due to all the commotion that caused. So I doubt we see any. Got $10 beer. That's probably cheap nowadays in the stadium, but no more 10-cent beer. So hopefully you guys were kind of thinking as we went through here. I'll stop the share now. And listeners, definitely interested in what you think. Maybe my thought was we'd kind of go around and think, what would your promotion be and how crazy would you get with that promotion?
I can't wait to hear Jared's.
I will say you want to really see some crazy stuff. Let me pull up the one I kept. Go into minor league team promotions. So, you got much less. I think with the MLB becoming more and more of like one unit where you probably have a lot of oversight, not just team oversight, but league oversight. A lot of these things have scaled back on what they're allowing teams to do, but it seems like you get a little less of that with the minors. Plus, there's just so many other teams and so many ideas they're trying to get people in with. So that's a rabbit hole if you want to look at some crazy stuff. One I kept was, let me read it for you here. The Altoona Curve, the AA affiliate of the Pittsburgh Pirates, hosted Awful Night. The promotion aim was to give the customer a bad experience. The first 1,000 fans got a picture of the general manager's gallbladder. One fan was awarded the actual gallbladder of the general manager. So,
Gross.
with that in mind, what do you guys think about this topic? I'll go first if you want like a little more time.
No, I can go.
Okay, go.
I think the promotions don't need to be too crazy. Like, I think we're at a pretty good spot where we are in the major leagues, at least. Like, if I go to a major league game, I'm expecting a certain experience. If I go to a minor league game, I certainly expect the um
The gallbladder
everything to be
picture?
no,
The
maybe not that.
gallbladder.
No, that's a bit extreme. But like you see the minor league teams that have the like one-off jerseys that are
Prostate
just
check night.
outrageous. Didn't there was one where like the manager or general manager got on the PA system and got his prostate checked at the game. I don't know if you guys,
Yeah.
That's an
but
Impractical Jokers episode there.
That too.
but like there's a minor league team. Oh my gosh, um, that did like a cow uniform and the okay, here we go, the Wisconsin Utter Tuggers. And I think that's like a one-off or one or two or three games they go by the Wisconsin Utter Tuggers. Um, so I mean I love that, but again, as a minor league thing, like I think major leagues should and are held to a little bit higher standard as far as what their promotions and their giveaways
Who
or
did the
like their
Utter
events
Tuggers
are.
play that night?
I don't know, man. Let me just.
Aaron, do you know?
No. I thought it was another animal or cow themed,
I don't
but I just
know,
want to hear
but
Corey say Utter Tuggers again.
I'll say Utter Tuggers as long as many times as you want me to. But like, I
Kaylee
think
looks disgusted.
especially you guys know, like I'm a big fan of just like the minor league teams doing a bunch of different promotions. Like I have a lot of weird minor league team hats. They did a crossover with Marvel this past year. They've done a lot of the like Latino heritage stuff, which I really like the hats that they do. Um, I like the fact that they can basically have free range to kind of do whatever they want with their uniforms and with their names for a game or two or three or four, and like it's a great way to sell merch. I imagine they don't sell a lot of just like their standard team merch. Like if they can do something unique like the Utter Tuggers, you're gonna sell some merch there. Um, I think I've even like if a movie's coming out, I think I've seen minor league teams like get promote like they will promote movies and like do special uniforms for that. I feel like there was a Ninja Turtles thing, but I might just be making that up because I want it to be true. But I think we are right where we need to be. So if you're asking me to appreciate or reinstate, I would appreciate the wild things we've done in the past because I think where we're at is the perfect spot to be.
So what would your promotion be?
I mean, I again, like I think
You can just say it's a hat with a cow on it. I mean, but what?
well,
You're the creative director for
I
Chicago
love
right now. What is it?
yeah, it has udders actually sticking at the top. I'm like again, I think for the major league teams, like it's nothing fancy. Like it's like some sort of ode to a previous player, or it's like you give away. It seems like when you guys went to Kansas City, especially since they are struggling with attendance, like those giveaways are a little bit more significant than teams that have consistently good attendance. Like you're not gonna give away, I don't think jerseys or like because it seems like what you guys got were like full blown like decent jerseys.
They were nice, yeah.
Yeah. Like you're not going to get that at a stadium that is able to bring people there to watch good baseball. And the Royals are fine. But like
8-2 in the last 10, baby.
yeah. But it seems like the worse teams are, the bigger their kind of promotions and giveaways are in order to try and bring people to the stadium. Because what I mean, your jerseys are nice. It probably costs them like $8 a jersey, if that, to make, and they expect you to probably spend that much on food and drinks and whatever else you guys are are doing while you're there. But I don't have anything specific in mind, but I do just love like the 1 or 2 game rebrand. Maybe not for the Cubs, but the big Major League Cubs. But the Cubs minor leagues team names, like most of them are also the Cubs. Not that exciting. That would be my thing. It's like make your minor league teams more fun. Like one of them's the Smokies, the Tennessee Smokies, and you got the Iowa Cubs, which is their AAA, and it's just like give me something unique.
Maybe the next time Cubs have promotion, it could be like can of corn night or something like that.
I'm gonna leave this call. Bye, guys.
Puny, what? Give us your.
I want to know, like, how can we pull off like a fan raffle where you get to be a hitter for an inning? Like the first 10,000 show up, enter your name in a raffle, and then in the 7th inning, 2 outs, no matter what's going on in the game. And next up,
Mhm.
seat 312, Joe Otwell, and it
That's
counts.
a
Like
bomb.
you get a 1 out contract, and then that's it. But for reals, I think a cool crossover would be like NBA jerseys, NBA themed jerseys. Which I think did the White Sox do that with the Bulls, or am I imagining that, or am I just we've talked about this before, maybe? But like if you've got an NBA team, like if the Dodgers would do Lakers night or something, and the Dodgers play with Kobe Bryant jerseys or something. That theme, not like an actual basketball jersey, but shape, color code the Dodgers stuff to the Lakers stuff, or you could do, Knicks and Mets, stuff like that. Get some crossover going between the major sports. I think fans would eat that up as far as like merchandise sales. That's where I'd be for an actual one that makes sense.
What do you think, Jaylee?
Probably the first time I'm just gonna say appreciate. I'll be honest, I don't really care too much about the promotions. Like kind of to Corey's point, I'm just kind of there for the game. Whatever they decide to throw at me for free, I'm always a fan of, but you don't have to really give me anything to come into the door. And then if I have to make something up, the only thing that came to my mind was like for those fans who think that they can do it better than the professionals, a pro versus Joe style type of thing. Maybe take a guy who's like recently just retired with the team or is on the take someone like Mickey who's gonna retire, and then like you have someone random guy come and try and strike him out after the game or something like that. I don't know.
That'd be fun. I like that.
I wouldn't even take like somebody close to retirement. I would take Jordan Hicks and be like, all right, here's 104 or some of the other guys. See if you can hit this. If not, you can never come back to the stadium.
And you're just surveying the stands throughout the game, and whoever's wearing Cardinals stuff, mouthing the Cardinals players, their name gets thrown in the bucket. And every time you mouth your home team fan, your name gets entered into a chance to face the Cardinals pitcher. And then Joe will be guaranteed to go up there and get struck out. So.
95% Joe Otwell. It's in the
10,000
in the
tickets
bucket.
and 9,500 of them are mine.
Yeah.
Well, so I would probably say, I mean, everything I brought up tonight would definitely be like appreciate, and I actually love all the merch. Anytime I go to a game and I get a hat or a shirt or something, assuming it remotely fits, sometimes they get outrageous with the sizes, but I love that stuff. So I'm kind of like Corey. It's in a good spot with what they give out. Bobbleheads and stuff are cool. I got some giveaways behind me over here, but and then me and Aaron were on the exact same wavelength because that was my idea too. The fan gets entered into either I thought hit or pitch. Maybe make that as fan choice or whatever. But man, wouldn't that be amazing? That would be that's the ultimate fan experience. I doubt that ever happens, and unless like Jeff Bezos buys his way onto a team or something. But yeah, that's where mine went to. Promotion to get an at bat in an actual game or get on the mound in an actual game. And then obviously hit a bomb or strike the other guy out with your heat.
Yeah, right. Well, that's a good topic. Sounds like we're all appreciate where it's at. Don't need to reinstate anything crazy, but it's a fun conversation for sure.
There was a kind of on that same vein. I tried to Google it, and I'm not sure what the right words to Google are, but there was a tweet years ago where it was like, instead of celebrities throwing the last or the first pitch, let's have celebrities coming in through the last pitch. So it's like somebody's got 2 strikes, and like, here comes Danny DeVito.
Here comes 50 Cent.
Yeah. It's a 3-2 count, tie ball game, bases loaded, 50 cents, or Danny DeVito, or whoever's coming in to throw the last pitch of the game. It's just like that.
You see Stephen A. Smith bounce it.
Yeah. But so that's just some of the ridiculousness. But let's move on to the final regular season weekend predictions. Let me find where
Let's
we're
do
at
it.
last week. And go ahead. Somebody saying something?
No, I said let's do it.
Okay. So last week we had a real opposite ends of the spectrum here. Joe,
God,
0 for 5.
what
Jared,
a joke.
Jared, 1 for 4. 1 and 4. I was 4 and 1. Aaron was 4 and 1. Which brings our yearly total to Aaron with 58, running away with it. I, the guy who for the longest time was under 500, I'm in second place with
Please don't tell
53.
me I dropped.
I am 53 and 53. I am at 500 and in second place.
I'm the only one over 500
Yes.
at our baseball podcast, baseball prediction contest.
Yes.
All right.
Joe with 51 and Jared with 50. But the good news is there are 10 points available this week. And our special.
What?
Yeah, it's in
Who
the
made
agenda.
these rules? I should be able to just take the
Night
night off and win.
There's always a bonus points at the end.
So there are 10
Everything.
points available in this week's weekend
Let's see.
predictions. We will still have our regular 5 weekend series predictions. We will also be guessing whoever gets the last 2 in the NL wild card, and it is going to be second and third. It's not like if you guess a team, like I'm going to need to know who you're saying gets second in the wild card, and I'm going to need to know who gets third in the wild card. We're going to be guessing.
Did you vote before tonight's game?
Yes. My votes are locked in.
Just checking.
We will be voting who gets the last 2 in the AL wild card and who wins the AL West. So 2 for the NL wild card, 2 for the AL wild card, 1 for the AL West, and then 5 for the. I'm doing hand motions over here that nobody can see. 5 for the normal weekend predictions.
Let's just go ahead and start so you can explain that to me when we get to the
I didn't
actual-
understand that's what that was on the agenda, but now I got you.
Yeah. So every series also includes a team or 2 that is involved in the races to conclude the season. We're going to start off with the Marlins at Pirates. I think it's a pretty easy choice. Don't knock on wood. I'm going to take the Marlins because the Pirates were good for a couple of weeks.
Marlins.
Marlins. Good choice.
Marlins.
Marlins.
Cooney's gonna Price is Right this thing just so he can't lose.
No.
All right,
pick.
moving on to the Cubs at Brewers. So the Brewers have basically. Okay,
Oh,
thank you,
sorry.
Joe. The Brewers have basically locked up the Central and have almost no shot of getting one of the 2 buys. So if I were them, I'd rest their players. I don't think they will, but if I were them, I would. But regardless, I'm going to take the Cubs.
Cubs.
I was going
Brewers for
to say Brewers until you just said all that, Joe or Corey. I'll still go Brewers, but you might be onto something there. They may not play the whole game. At least they might. Take them out early.
Next is the Astros at D-backs.
Verlander's starting back-to-back games.
Look at
No,
that.
I don't. Man, so Fangraphs wasn't working. Fangraphs, if you're listening, figure it out because I have a lot of problems with your website. You always ask me to pay for it, and I don't, so maybe this is why. But so
They
I had
do
to
watch.
go-
They sabotaged you the last weekend.
Yeah. So I had to go to some other website. I'm guessing they just don't have a starter announced for one of those games.
All right.
Astros at D-backs. I think the Astros are making a push for that first place in the West, so I'm going to take the Astros. I assume Jared's taking the D-backs. Joe?
Astros.
D-backs.
So now that we have gone through all of the NL teams in our weekend predictions, I want to switch gears here and go for who we think are going to get second and third in the NL wild card. I have the D-backs getting second and the Cubs getting third, which is basically staying as it is right now. So Jared, second and third in the NL wild card.
That's what I had.
Perfect. Joe?
Second and third in the wild card.
Maybe Aaron wants to go while Joe contemplates.
Well, I'm looking over who the Reds play. I got
It's the
Arizona.
Cardinals.
Arizona 2, Marlins 3. I think the Marlins could sweep the Pirates. Cubs and Brewers beat up on each other. The and the Marlins get to pass them.
I'll just go what it is now. Arizona, Chicago.
All right. We will move on to our fourth series then, which is the Rays at Blue Jays. I'm going to stay on my Rays on good train. Take the Blue Jays.
Take the Rays.
What are we picking here?
Rays at Blue Jays.
Oh, we're back to okay, my bad. Yeah, Rays.
Blue Jays.
All right. And then the last series, maybe the most important one of the weekend. Rangers at Mariners.
Big 4 game, huh?
Yeah. The Rangers have burned me, the Mariners have burned me twice, and they didn't. But I'm back on the Mariners train. I think the Rangers too streaky for me. I'm taking the Mariners.
I also took the Mariners.
They've been burning me too, but I'm taking them again.
I'm taking the Rangers.
All right. So now our second bonus here is the second and third place into the AL wild card. I have the Blue Jays and Mariners as my second and third place team in the AL wild card. Jared?
Yep. That's actually what I had too.
Oh, we're so cute.
I will go Houston, Seattle.
Aaron?
Not
I have
Cleveland.
Blue Jays Seattle as well.
And finally, who do we think wins the AL West? I have the Astros, which leaves the odd man out of the playoffs. The 2.5 game lead right now in the West, the Rangers. I think they're going to lose out.
I have the Rangers.
Of course, you don't have the Astros.
Rangers.
I got D-backs beating the Astros and the Rangers beating the Mariners. And I guess by default, I got to put the Rangers in the West. If I got the Rangers winning,
Yeah.
Houston losing.
So that's a lot to recap. We'll figure it out next week. There's 10 things. There's 10 points on the board. Aaron's got a 5-point lead, but it's anybody's ball game. We'll see who gets the first pick in the World Series snake draft that's maybe happening this week. Ooh, spoiler alert.
Oh, yeah. Should we spoil? Yeah. Be on the lookout early next week. We're going to try to get a postseason preview show in on Sunday night so that we can have the next episode talking about the upcoming postseason. Hopefully have it dropped before the postseason starts.
Since we predicted the regular season so well, we wanted to give you guys a postseason preview prediction.
Now that it's down to a third of the teams, we might be able to figure something out. We'll see.
Cleveland, baby.
Joe still go Cleveland to win the World Series by 15 games. It's going to be fun. Of course, Corey has Toronto over Cleveland in the World Series. So who knows what's going to happen? It's going to be fun. Jared, you got any final words?
Nope.
Perfect. Until next time, don't forget to rake
Your
Position.
position. It's very dirty.
The labor.
I put a prince up there. Messed up.